Superhero Worship is the fourth episode of the fifth season of All Grown Up, and I quite like this episode. There are two parts to the episode. One part is definitely filler, it's definitely fluff. I don't have too many thoughts on that, but I didn't mind it. The other part is really moving and really thought-provoking. So I'll deal with the fluff first, and this is the fact that Tommy is trying to train this rat for his science fair project. As part of the narrative, it works well enough. It's maybe not the most exciting, but it's fine. I have no problems with it at all. The main part of the story, though, focuses on Chuckie. And he finds out that his favourite superhero, Armadillo Dave, has been cancelled. And he is devastated. And to anybody who's never really been obsessed with a comic character, a TV or film character, you might think that Chuckie is overreacting to this situation, but there are actually two ways of looking at it. The first is that actually, if you can relate, you'll know that when a character you love is no more, it can leave a big hole in your life, because the great thing about fiction and fictional characters is that we can develop strong emotional connections with them. And when they're ripped out from underneath us without warning, it can hurt. And that's kind of one way of looking at it. But there's also a deeper layer. And I'll talk more about that with a spoiler warning in a moment, in case you don't want to know exactly what's going on with Chuckie and exactly how Tommy and the others are forced to look at the situation, because it became even more moving and meaningful. But Chuckie is really struggling with this, and if you can relate in any way, I think you'll be able to sympathise with him. I think it's a side of Chuckie that we don't see that often, and I don't know if Armadillo Dave has ever been referenced in All Grown Up, or if this has just completely come out of the blue. I genuinely don't know, but I don't mind too much, even if it is something that has never appeared in the show before, and it's a bit of a continuity issue. I'm not bothered, but if it has appeared before, that's brilliant. Feel free to let me know that I've missed it, and that's something that I can consider. But Chuckie in this was really great. I think he goes through a lot of different emotions, and I think there's a strong element of relatability there. I like the fact as well that the others, particularly Tommy, they just didn't understand. They didn't get it. And that is so relatable. If you are upset about a TV show that's being cancelled, and you say to somebody, I'm devastated, they're just like, it's a TV show, just get over it. But that's a really negative way of looking at it, because yes, to some people, TV shows and films are just that. They can tune them in, they can tune them out, they don't really care. But for a lot of people, it is an emotional escape. It is a way to connect with parts of ourselves that we might not otherwise be able to, and they mean so much more to us. And this is clearly what we had with Armadillo Dave, and I think it was a really well done narrative. So I will now, with a spoiler warning, explain the other layer, the further depth that they go with this. And so this is a spoiler for what happens towards the end of the episode. Tommy comes to the realization that Chuckie has lost somebody already. He has lost his mother. And obviously one can't compare a mother to a comic book character. But Chuckie is very familiar with loss, and this is just one more thing in his life where he has developed an attachment and it's been taken away from him. And that is absolutely going to hurt. So I think that was something really important to raise, that if you are used to loss, you might find comfort in other things. Also, Chuckie pointed out that Armadillo Dave, while he wasn't flashy and fancy, he saw elements of himself in the character. He saw somebody representing himself, but in a way where he was heroic and doing these great things. And that is so invaluable, to find yourself represented in popular culture and to find inner strength because of that. I thought was beautiful. So there are a lot of takeaways from this episode. There are a lot of things that can be enjoyed and a lot of really great messages as well. Whether you are like Chuckie and you are facing the loss of a character who has brought you a lot of strength, or if you're like Tommy and the others. I keep saying Tommy because Tommy was the one who seemed to not get it the most. And you just don't understand why somebody could be so upset over a comic book character being cancelled. But actually, if you take the time to get to know why that person is feeling the way they are, you'll realise that actually it's much more deep than just a random character, and I rather like this a lot. Needless to say, I have a lot of elements of relatability here. Superhero worship. If you've ever, quite frankly, if you've ever worshipped a character, a TV show, a film series, you'll know what this is like. And I think they did the episode in a really great way. It's very moving and meaningful, and I rather enjoyed it.